Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Podcast Zone, the place where learning English is not only practical, but fun, engaging, and connected to real life. I'm Alex, your host, and today we're diving deep into business meetings.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie, and I'm so glad to be here with you again. This is episode 14, and it's going to be a very special one. Business meetings are something almost everyone will face in their career, whether you're an employee, a manager, or even running your own business.
That's right. And here's the key. Business meetings are not just about talking. They're about communicating clearly, persuading others, solving problems, and making decisions together. So in this episode, we'll not only have natural conversations between us, but we'll also role-play real-life meeting situations, explain useful vocabulary, and share cultural insights.
And don't forget, this is an English learning podcast. That means we'll pause often to explain phrases, expressions, and common mistakes. So by the end of this episode, you'll not only understand how business meetings work, you'll also be able to speak confidently in them.
Exactly. And we're going to make this long and detailed, so consider this almost like a mini course on English for business meetings. So grab a notebook, sit back, and let's dive in. So Alex, let's start with the basics. Why do we even need meetings? I know some people feel like meetings are boring or even a waste of time.
That's true. Many people complain about meetings. But the truth is, meetings are one of the main ways organizations share information, align goals, and make decisions. Without meetings, teams would often be lost, working in different directions.
That makes sense. A business meeting is like a checkpoint. It brings everyone together to update, discuss, and decide.
Exactly. And here's something important for English learners. Meetings are not just about what you say, but how you say it. Using polite, professional English can make a big difference in how people see you at work.
Right. And I'd add another thing. Meetings are opportunities. If you can communicate clearly, you can show leadership, build trust, and even grow your career.
Well said. So our listeners should see meetings not as a boring requirement, but as a chance to shine.
All right, so now let's talk about the different types of business meetings. Not all meetings are the same.
Exactly. Let me list a few. Team meetings, regular meetings where team members update each other. Client meetings, discussions with customers or partners. Board meetings, high level with executives or directors. Brainstorming sessions, creative meetings to generate ideas. Status updates, quick check-ins to track progress. Virtual meetings, online using Zoom, Teams, or Google Meet.
Good list. And each type of meeting has different language and etiquette.
Right. For example, in a brainstorming session, you might hear phrases like, "Let's think outside the box." Any ideas are welcome. There are no bad ideas at this stage.
Whereas in a board meeting, the language is more formal. Let's move to the next item on the agenda. Could you provide an update on last quarter's results? The motion has been approved.
That's a good contrast. So as an English learner, you need to know what type of meeting you're in and adjust your language accordingly.
Now, this is my favorite part. Let's go through key vocabulary and phrases you can use in meetings.
Yes, let's break it into stages of a meeting. A. Starting a meeting. Good morning, everyone. Let's get started. Thank you all for coming. The purpose of today's meeting is... Before we begin, does everyone have the agenda?
Notice how polite these openings are. You set the tone by being respectful and organized.
B. During the meeting, participating. Can I add something here? I'd like to share my thoughts on this. Could you clarify what you mean by, "That's a great point. I agree. I see things differently. In my opinion..."
These are very useful. They help you contribute without interrupting or sounding rude.
C. Managing the discussion. Let's stay on topic. We're running short on time. Let's move on to the next item. Can we circle back to this later?
Great phrases. They show leadership and help keep the meeting focused.
E. Ending a meeting. Let's summarize the key points. To recap, we decided to thank you all for your input.
Our next meeting will be on.
And always end with gratitude. A simple thank you goes a long way. All right, let's do a quick role play of a team meeting. I'll be the manager and you'll be one of the team members.
Okay, let's do it. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to review our progress on the new project. Alex, could you give us an update on the marketing plan?
Sure. So far, we've created the initial campaign outline and we're working on the social media strategy. We should have the first draft ready by next week.
That sounds good. Do you need any support from the design team?
Yes, actually, we'll need some graphics, so I'll reach out to them today.
Perfect, thank you. Let's move on to the next item, the budget. See how that works? It's short, but notice the polite tone, clear updates, and use of professional language.
Exactly. Even in a short exchange, you can hear useful phrases like, the purpose of this meeting is, or do you need any support? Now, let's talk about culture. Meetings in English-speaking countries can feel different depending on where you are.
For example, in the United States, meetings are often direct and time-focused. People want to get to the point quickly.
Whereas in the UK, meetings might include more small talk at the beginning, like discussing the weather or the weekend before getting into business.
Yes, and in some Asian countries, meetings may be more formal and respectful with less open disagreement.
That's important. If you're an English learner joining international meetings, pay attention to cultural style, not just the language. All right, Alex, before we dive into more role plays, let's talk about some common mistakes English learners make in business meetings.
Good idea. Because sometimes it's not about what you know, but about avoiding what makes you sound unprofessional.
Exactly. Here are some common mistakes. Being too direct without politeness. For example, saying, I don't like your idea. That sounds rude. Instead, you can say, I see your point, but I think we could try another approach. That's interesting, but I have a slightly different perspective. Overusing filler words. Many learners say, like, too often. It makes you sound less confident. Not participating. Staying silent during meetings can make others think you're not engaged. Even a short comment like, I agree with that, shows you're paying attention. Interrupting. In English-speaking culture, interrupting too much can be seen as disrespectful. Use polite phrases like, sorry to interrupt, but may I add something? Or, can I jump in here?
Those are really important. And I'll add one more. Not preparing. If you don't review the agenda or know your points before the meeting, you'll struggle to express yourself.
Yes, preparation is half the battle. Okay, let's do a longer role play. This time, let's imagine I'm a sales manager meeting with the client. You'll be the client. We'll show how polite professional English works in the setting.
Good afternoon, Alex. Thanks for meeting with me today.
Good afternoon, Sophie. Thank you for taking the time. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So, the purpose of today's meeting is to walk you through our new software solution and see how it might fit your company's needs.
Perfect. Could you give me a quick overview of the key features?
Of course. Our software is designed to simplify project management. It includes task tracking, real-time collaboration, and automated reporting. For example, your team could cut admin time by about 30%.
That sounds impressive, but I'm a little concerned about the cost.
That's understandable. Let me explain our pricing model. We offer flexible plans depending on the size of your team. For a team of 50, the cost would be around $1,200 per month, but that includes full customer support and free updates.
I see. That's higher than our current system.
I completely understand. However, if you consider the time saved, the productivity boost could actually save you more money in the long run.
That's a good point. I'll need to discuss this with my team.
Absolutely. Would it be helpful if I prepared a comparison report showing how our solution stacks up against what you currently use?
Yes, that would be great.
Perfect. I'll have that ready by early next week.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sophie. I look forward to hearing your team's feedback.
Okay, let's pause here. Did you notice the polite language Alex used? Words like, I completely understand. Would it be helpful if, and I look forward to.
Yes, and notice also the structure. Greet, state the purpose, explain, handle objections politely, agree on next steps, end politely. That's the rhythm of a good client meeting. Another big part of business meetings is negotiation. For example, when discussing contracts, prices, or deadlines.
Yes, and negotiation requires very careful language. Here's some useful phrases. Making a proposal. What if we try? Our proposal is to, we suggest extending the deadline by 2 weeks. Agreeing. That works for us. We're happy with that arrangement. I think that's a fair solution. Disagreeing politely. I see your point, but unfortunately we can't agree to those terms. I'm afraid that won't be possible for us. Could we explore another option? Reaching compromise. Let's meet halfway. We're willing to adjust our offer if you can. How about we extend the deadline but reduce the scope of work?
These phrases are golden. They let you protect your interests without sounding rude.
Exactly. The tone is always polite, calm, and professional.
Let's do another role play. This time, we're colleagues negotiating about project deadlines.
Hi, Sophie. Thanks for meeting. I wanted to discuss the deadline for the new app launch. The current deadline is March 15th, but the development team is struggling to meet it.
I see. But our marketing campaign is already scheduled for that date. If we push it back, it could affect our launch strategy.
I understand. What if we extend the launch by just 1 week, to March 22nd? That would give the developers enough breathing room.
That could work, but we'd need to adjust our ad schedule. Could we compromise? Maybe extend only by 5 days instead of 7?
That's reasonable. So March 20th as the new deadline?
Yes, I think that's manageable.
Perfect. I'll inform the development team, and we'll adjust the internal timeline accordingly.
Great. Thanks for being flexible.
And thank you for understanding. Alex, breaking character. See how we used phrases like, I understand, what if we, and that's reasonable? These make negotiations smoother.
Exactly. And we ended with mutual appreciation, which keeps the relationship strong. Now, let's take it a step further. In business meetings, especially if you are in a leadership role, you'll often need to persuade others.
Yes, and persuasion language is very powerful. Let's list some advanced phrases. The data clearly shows that, from a long-term perspective, this is the best option. If we don't act now, we risk falling behind competitors. Based on customer feedback, it's clear we need to. This approach aligns with our company values.
Notice how these phrases appeal to logic, urgency, and shared values. That's how you convince people.
Exactly, and don't forget nonverbal persuasion. Tone of voice, eye contact, confidence. English learners often focus only on words, but body language is just as important.
Okay, Sophie, up to now, we've mostly done role plays with just 2 people, but real meetings often include multiple participants.
Yes, and that makes communication trickier. You need to know how to join in politely, how to agree or disagree, and how to manage interruptions.
Right. So let's simulate a team meeting with 4 participants. We'll play 2 characters each. Okay, Sophie, up to now, we've mostly done role plays with just 2 people, but real meetings often include multiple participants.
Yes, and that makes communication trickier. You need to know how to join in politely, how to agree or disagree, and how to manage interruptions.
Right. So let's simulate a team meeting with 4 participants. We'll play 2 characters each. Okay, so we're going to play 2 characters, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. The purpose of today's meeting is to finalize the timeline for the app launch. Let's start with an update from development. James, how's progress?
Thanks, Emma. The coding is almost complete, but we still need to do more testing. Realistically, we'll need an extra week to make sure everything is stable.
I see. That's important. David, how would that affect marketing?
Well, our campaign is scheduled for the 15th. If we delay the launch, we'd need to shift our ads and social media plan. It's possible, but it will require adjustments.
From the design side, we're ready, but I agree with James. We should allow more time for testing. A buggy launch would damage our reputation. Good points. So it seems we need to balance marketing schedules with development needs. James, is 1 week enough, or do you need more?
1 week should be enough if we focus on the critical bugs.
Okay. David, would moving the campaign back by 1 week work?
Yes, it's not ideal, but we can adjust.
Great. So the new launch date will be the 22nd. Let's summarize. Development will focus on testing this week. Marketing will adjust the campaign, and design remains ready.
Sounds good to me.
Agreed.
Same here.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. Let's move forward with this plan. See how Emma, the project manager, guided the discussion, asked for updates, balanced opinions, and then summarized decisions.
Yes, and notice the polite turn-taking. Phrases like, I see, good points, and let's summarize. These are markers of professional communication.
In multi-person meetings, it's really important to know how to agree or disagree without sounding rude.
Absolutely. Here are some useful phrases. Agreeing. I completely agree with that. That's exactly what I was thinking. I support that idea. I think David is right. Disagreeing politely. I see your point, but I think there's another way to look at it. I respect your opinion, but I'm not sure I agree. That's interesting, but I'd suggest a different approach. I'm afraid I see it differently.
Notice how disagreement often starts with something positive. I see your point. I respect your opinion. That softens the disagreement.
Yes, direct disagreement like, you're wrong, sounds rude in English meetings.
Now, let's talk about cultural differences in meetings.
Great topic, because English is global and meetings can feel very different depending on where you are.
For example, in the United States, meetings are often direct and action-oriented. People want to make decisions quickly.
In the UK, meetings may include more small talk and politeness. People sometimes avoid being too direct.
In Germany, meetings are often very structured, with detailed agendas and punctuality being crucial.
In Japan, meetings can be more formal, with respect and hierarchy playing a big role. People may not openly disagree in the meeting itself.
In Brazil or Latin countries, meetings may be more flexible, with lots of personal connection and energy.
So for learners, pay attention not just to English words, but also to the culture of the people you're meeting with.
Okay, listeners, time for a quick exercise. We'll say some situations, and you think about which phrase you would use.
Ready? Let's go. Situation 1. Someone gives an idea you agree with. What can you say? Correct answers could be, I completely agree. That's a great point. I support that idea.
Nice. Here's another one. Situation 2. You don't understand something in the meeting. What can you say?
Correct phrases could be, could you clarify what you mean? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Can you explain that again?
Good job. Next one. Situation 3. You want to politely interrupt. What can you say?
Correct phrases could be, sorry to interrupt, but may I add something? Can I jump in here?
Perfect. This kind of practice helps you remember the phrases when you actually need them. Now let's do a more challenging scenario. A meeting where there's conflict.
Ooh, I like this, because real meetings aren't always smooth. Scenario. 2 team members strongly disagree about project priorities. Lisa, operations manager, Sophie. Tom, finance manager, Alex. Moderator, CEO, Sophie.
Thank you all for joining. Today, we need to decide whether to prioritize expanding into new markets or cutting costs internally. Lisa, let's start with you. Thank you. I believe expansion is critical. If we don't move now, competitors will get ahead. Yes, it requires investment, but the long-term benefits are worth it.
I understand your view, Lisa, but I completely disagree. Our costs are already too high. Expansion now would be risky. We need to reduce spending before we even think about new markets.
I see your point, Tom, but waiting could mean losing opportunities.
And moving too fast could mean financial disaster.
Okay, thank you both. These are strong points. Let's take a step back. Perhaps we can explore a middle ground. What if we cut costs in non-critical areas, but still allocate a smaller budget for testing one new market? That could work. It's not as ambitious as I'd like, but it's a step forward.
Yes, I could agree to that, as long as the budget is controlled.
Perfect. So we'll move forward with the limited expansion while also cutting costs. See how the moderator helped manage the conflict by offering compromise?
Yes, and notice the polite disagreement. Phrases like, I understand your view, but I completely disagree. It's firm, but still professional.
Okay, Alex. We've done role plays for team meetings, client meetings, and even conflict situations. But what about when you're the one leading the meeting?
Good question. Leading a meeting requires special language. You need to be clear, structured, and motivating.
Exactly. Here are some useful phrases for leaders. Opening with authority. Let's begin. Today's goal is to... I'd like to welcome everyone and outline the agenda. Keeping control. Let's stay on track. We'll come back to that point later. I'd like to hear from someone who hasn't spoken yet. Encouraging input. What are your thoughts on this? Does anyone see it differently? Let's open the floor for suggestions. Summarizing decisions. To summarize, we've agreed on the action items are, let's assign responsibilities before we close.
And don't forget tone, confident but respectful. A leader doesn't dominate the conversation, they guide it.
All right, let's simulate a big boardroom meeting. This will include executives discussing company strategy.
CEO, chairperson. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. The purpose of today's board meeting is to review our quarterly performance and decide on our growth strategy for the next year. Let's begin with the financial report.
Thank you. Overall, revenue is up by 8% compared to last year, but expenses have also increased significantly due to higher supply chain costs.
Thank you. COO, how is the operations side handling these challenges?
We're working on improving efficiency. We've already reduced delivery times by 10%, but supply costs are outside our control.
Understood. CMO, what's your perspective from a market standpoint?
Customer demand is strong, but competition is increasing. If we want to stay ahead, we need to invest in brand awareness and digital campaigns.
That sounds good, but we need to be careful with spending. I recommend prioritizing efficiency before increasing marketing expenses.
I agree. Without stronger operations, marketing campaigns may not deliver their full impact.
I see your points, but if we delay, competitors may win market share. All right, thank you for the strong arguments. Here's what I propose. Let's approve a moderate marketing budget increase, but only if paired with strict cost controls and operations. That way we balance growth and financial stability.
That compromise works for me.
Agreed.
Yes, I can accept that.
Excellent. So the decision is moderate marketing investment paired with operational cost controls. Let's move forward with this plan.
Notice how the CEO managed the discussion. He listened, asked each person's view, and then proposed a balanced solution.
Yes, and the language was formal and precise, perfect for high-level board meetings.
All right, listeners, let's get interactive again. Imagine you are the leader of a meeting. I'll give you a situation, and you think of what to say. Situation 1. The discussion is going off topic. What can you say? Correct answers? Let's stay on track. We'll come back to that later.
Here's another. Situation 2. You want to encourage quieter participants to speak. What can you say? Possible phrases: I'd like to hear from someone who hasn't spoken yet. What are your thoughts on this?
One more. Situation 3. You're ending the meeting. What can you say? Correct answers. To summarize, we've agreed on. The action items are: thank you all for your contributions. Wow, Sophie, we've covered so much today. Let's do a quick recap for our listeners.
Yes, here are the main takeaways from this episode. Business meetings matter. They're opportunities to communicate, influence, and grow in your career. Know the type of meeting. Team updates, client meetings, board meetings, brainstorming sessions, all use different styles. Use professional English phrases for starting, participating, managing, and ending meetings. Be polite when agreeing or disagreeing. Use softeners like, I see your point. Understand cultural differences. US directness, UK politeness, German structure, Japanese hierarchy, etc. Practice negotiation language. Proposing, agreeing, disagreeing, compromising. Leadership requires structure. Summarize, guide discussion, encourage participation.
And don't forget, practice makes perfect. The more you actually use these phrases in real or role-play meetings, the more natural they will feel. That brings us to the end of episode 14, Business Meetings. This was like a mini course packed into one podcast.
Yes, and if you listened carefully, you now have a toolkit of phrases, role plays, and strategies you can use in your own meetings.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the English Podcast Zone and share it with your colleagues or friends who want to improve their business English.
And remember, every meeting is a chance to learn, connect, and grow. So go into your next meeting with confidence.
Both together. Thanks for listening and see you next time.